I'm Gabrielle Duggan. I've always been around thrift stores, and so I can try to do my own thing with it. So my mom taught me how to sew on her machine, just, forward stitch and backward stitch in middle school. And I had done some hand sewing and tried to learn knitting and crocheting before then, just as part of my art interest in general. Once I learned how to sew, I didn't really ever follow patterns. I just took things apart. I just totally deconstructed things, put them back together. Sometimes I would just take things apart to figure out how they were made, and then I would make my own version of it with some fabric my mom had left over. I made some, obviously, of course, I made a lot of really hideous stuff. So I've learned a lot of things the hard way with making clothes, and I think that was really good for me. And then I finally got to fashion school and figured out why you don't do things that way, why you follow certain rules. I think it was really good for me to learn the hard way and then also learn the right way. And I would really recommend people pursue their own education and techniques. I can trace my relationship to textiles back to a young age. My mom would take me to a fabric store sometimes. I just remember my senses would be totally heightened, It's kind of like how I feel when I go outside now and haven't been outside for a while. It was that kind of experience for me when we were going to the fabric store. It wasn't just the colors, it was definitely the textures, and I loved that it was set up with it was just walls of it. It was just one experience after another. There's just something really interesting to me about the fluidity of fabric. What I really like about textiles also is that they can be applied to almost anything, and they can change the experience. So, it can be applied to your body, it can be applied to a living situation. It has a lot of industrial applications. I also really like the connection to animals that fibers have. I grew up hating wool, thinking it was itchy and gross. And then when I finally got to work with it in fashion school, I realized the magic that it has when it can really meld to what you need it to do. And so I pursued that and honed in on that in grad school by learning how to spin and, knit and weave my own fabric. And then even going and helping with some shearings. And, of course, being connected with the animals has been really important. And, we are animals. And so I think it's good to remember that. Wool has been really magical to work with. It really if you know how to work with it, it works with you. I can nerd out about wool a little bit. It's kind of exciting.